Welcome to the preparatory webinars about interaction between cetacean and fishery, post-mortem evidences and diagnostic approaches. During the third webinar, we would like to refresh together with you the main definition and concepts about the forensic medicine, which will be useful for the diagnostic framework discussion. The forensic medicine is based on the anatomical pathology, which is the diagnosis of pathologies based on the gross, micro, chemical, and molecular evidences. It consists on the description and interpretation of the lesion or alterations observed on the different organs and tissues. The forensic diagnosis aims to identify the cause of death, which is defined as the disease, injury, or abnormality that alone or in combination with other factors, such as environmental, other concurrent diseases, age, etc., is responsible for initiating the sequence of functional disturbances that resulted in life-threatening and death. When defining the cause of death, the following may be further considered. If it is immediate, when the final disease, damage, condition, or complication is immediately before death, so it's the last consequence of the main cause of death. The underlying cause of death is the disease or injury that initiate the chain of morbid events that led directly and inevitably to death. Main cause of death is the disease or damage that begin the chain of events and pathological changes, leading to death or circumstances and violent events which determine the lethal injury. The contributing factor include the other significant diseases, conditions, or any relevant impact that may have contributed to death, but which are not an underlying cause of death. We continue illustrating other definitions to focus more on specific aspects. What mechanism of death is defined as immediate physiologic derangement resulting in death. A particular mechanism of death can be produced by a variety of different causes of death. The manner of death is how death came about. In the case of wildlife, and specifically of cetaceans, we can distinguish natural, due mainly to natural disease or toxic processes, anthropic, anthropogenic, so human-induced mortality, which are deaths directly linked to human activities, such as incidental capture by fisheries, ship strikes, entanglements, or death due to a voluntary act or direct killing, and undetermined, when we have inadequate or poor information regarding the circumstances of death to determine the manner. Animals can be involved in three main ways. As the cause of an incident, when animals can cause injuries, death and financial loss. As the victim, if they are killed, injured, poached, exported illegally, or bad treated, in providing information that is relevant to an incident, for example, because an animal was present when a crime was committed, or when their presence can provide extra information to assess specific details. In the case where the animal is the victim, legal cases can be described in four main categories. When the animal has died under unusual circumstances which need more in-depth investigations. When the animal is alive but shows unusual clinical signs. When the animal's welfare apparently is or has been compromised, so there is a need to determine the origin of it. When the animal is subjected to illegal treatments. The different steps of an investigation based on the aforementioned definition is listed here. This consists in different aspects, assessment and tools to analyze as much as possible a specific case in order to get it solved. We can summarize these investigation steps in physical examination, environmental examination, sample collection and photo-video material collection, diagnostic investigation applied standardized framework, and veterinary statement. Following, we describe the differences between the main tools useful to harmonize the post-mortem procedures and investigations. The necropsy protocol is the operational methodology adopted to conduct an investigation on a carcass. It is developed considering experiences, the supporting research, and the current knowledge, therefore, it needs to be reviewed and updated periodically. Furthermore, it is based on the goals and logistics of the post-mortem exam, taking into account all the possible logistic scenarios and the targeted species. The best practice are the procedures that has been shown by research and experience to produce optimal results and that is established or proposed as a standard suitable for widespread adoption. The framework is a basic structure based on the harmonization or of standardized protocol. It consists of a set of rules, ideas, or beliefs to apply in order to deal with problems, to decide what to do, and to form a technical, logistic, scientific support. It is important to highlight that a framework is not a shortcut, but need deep knowledges, which are widely discussed and experienced. The guidelines are non-specific rules or principles that provides direction to action or behavior. In conclusion, it is necessary to remind that the provision of forensic evidence must be scientific and objective. It must be in accordance with the main legislation, and that differences with routine diagnosis and treatment consist in the adoption of a combination of in-depth investigation strictly based on protocols and standard procedures with a degree of lateral thinking. The use of standardized scientific tools is essential to get results which can be shared and compared. Only a complete necropsy can ensure what we have described. In the next webinar, we will talk about definitions related to human-induced mortality. Thank you for your attention.